All right. Hey guys. So again, I'm Miss Howell. Um, because Mr. Wang is not here, obviously, and Mr. Placement isn't available yet. I'm gonna try helping out for the time being. So you'll see me in class sometimes. You might see some of the other math teachers in there, but we're gonna do our best to get you guys still prepared for your EOC at the end of the day. Okay. So, um, I know some of you go to Mr. Wang's or you went to Mr. Wang's tutoring. If you need help, I offer tutoring on Tuesdays after school until 5:30 p.m. So like you need a ride home at 5:30 p.m. So if you need help with any of this stuff, you can come into my tutoring. Okay? Like I said, Tuesdays after school till 5:30. Okay? You are more than welcome to come. Okay, and I will do my best to answer any questions that you have. Okay, so first of all, there might be a little bit of some changes. Okay, if you've never had me as a teacher, I am a very vocal type of person, at least with you guys, maybe not around like adults. And also, as you can see, I do notes. Like I will give you the notes, and you can copy and fill in like the stuff that you need. Okay. Um, and I know Mr. Wang, you had notebooks with Mr. Wang, so I have no. I'm trying to make these so that they are like half size, that they fit in your notebook. So as you can see, it fits in Miss Howell's notebook, so it should fit in your notebook too. So what I'm gonna need you to do before we start anything, okay, or you can do this afterwards. I want you to take this note page that you picked out, and I want you can either use a stapler and like staple it up here at the top, like right here, or like do two on the sides, or even I am going to be using some tape. I'm gonna tape mine in my notebook. So, if you want to pause the video and go do that, and then I'll be waiting. Or you can do that after you write it all down and then put it in your notebook. But this needs to go in your notebook. So all of you, make sure you have your notebook and take it out. I will be checking, like not tomorrow, obviously, but like at some point in life, I will be collecting your notebooks to look. So make sure you have it in there. Okay? All right. See you in a second. All right. We back? Cool. All right. So, um, I didn't take mine in my notebook, so I'm gonna do it at the end, just because that's how I roll. So, for today, we are taking a look at section 5 4 about solving absolute value inequalities. Okay, so there are a few things that you need to remember here. First of all, you need to remember whenever you're graphing inequalities that if it has the line under it, okay, it gets a closed dot. And if it doesn't have doesn't have the line, it's an open dot. It means that it's not included because it didn't split. That's what that means. Okay. Now, because it's an absolute value, it's actually a little bit special, if you will. Okay. So what happens is that you're actually going to take this math problem and you're going to split it and make two math problems. So whenever you're solving absolute value inequalities, you need to solve the problem twice. Okay, so make sure you put the word twice. We're going to do it 2 times. Okay, you're going to do it 1 time and you're going to keep it the exact same way it is. Okay, so we're going to do it the first time. We're going to put m plus 5, 3. All right, so m plus 5 is less than 3. So that's the first way you're going to do it. The second way, the m plus 5 part doesn't change. So the part that's in the inequality, that does not change. Okay? It's the stuff after the inequality. That's the part that changes. Okay? So instead of having a less than, you're going to flip it and make it a greater than. So the rule is for the second one, whatever the sign is, you just flip it twice. Or flip it around, I mean. And then whatever it equals, see how it's a 3? You're going to flip that. So it's going to be a -3. Okay? So that's what we're going to do for that. That's how you're going to like set that up, if you will. Okay? So Let's see how we can solve that. All right, so let's try solving this. So let's see, whenever you're solving, remember you do the opposite of what it says. So like if this says plus 5, we're going to do the opposite of that, which is, yes, I know, I'm going to, thank you, it's subtraction. So I'm not going to write down the subtraction part just because it's like a little box, but I'm hoping you can remember. Okay, so we're going to have the m left over, the inequality doesn't change, so you need to do 3 minus 5. So write it down, do it in your head, do it in a calculator, I don't care, but do something, okay? Because you sitting there just waiting for me to do it, that's not going to help you, okay? 3 minus 5. Hopefully you got -2. Okay, all right, that's the first one. Cool. Now I gotta do it again. So we're gonna do it again. So again, it says plus 5. We just did it. The opposite of plus 5 is -5. Good job. Okay. So we're gonna put the m. The inequality doesn't change. So we do -5. So -3 minus 5. Again, you have calculators or brains or paper, whatever you need. Use it. So get -8. Okay, so those are going to be your two answers. Now, you see when you look at it, you see how you have one of the inequalities, like this guy here, how it's like pointing at the m, and the other one is pointing away from the m? Whenever you have one of each, like one going towards the letter and one not going towards the letter, okay, you have to write the answer in a special way. Okay, it's called set notation. So set notation, you're going to need some curly parentheses like that. Okay, they're called brackets or curvy brackets, whatever you want to call it. You're going to write whatever the letter was. So like the first two are M, but the next ones are X. So we're going to use M for this one. And then you're going to draw a big line. And then you're going to put, because we had the opposite like sign things, or opposite inequalities that is, which one is the smaller number? The -8. So that's one we're going to start with. So we're going to say -8 and then write the inequality. So it was pointing at the 8. So we're going to make it pointing at the 8 and put the m. And then the next one is pointing at the m. It's saying -2. So when you read that, what that says is that to answer this inequality, m is any number between -8 and -2. And that's how you read it. Okay. Now, next step, you get to graph that. Okay. And just in case you're curious, if they ever ask you, this would be an and inequality because it's in between. The m is in between. So on the number line, if you don't have enough room to like do all the numbers, like if you don't want to put -8, -7, -6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you don't want to do all of them, you can just kind of like eyeball it. I don't really care. As long as you put the two numbers that were in your answers. See how I did? See, because mine isn't 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. As long as you put them like that, that's fine. Again, these are just notes. But please, 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 on your homeworks or like on a test or whatever, count it out and make it the exact same. Because it will matter then. Okay, but these are. Alright. So remember, back up here, I told you how to remember the rules for graphing inequalities. This is where it comes into play. Okay. So when we look at our inequality, did we have a line under it? Hopefully you said no. Okay, so we're going to have an open dot. We're going to, guys. So we're going to put 1 on 8, or -8, and 1 on -2. Now, when we read this up here, we said m is greater than -8. So greater than. So if this would be like negative, this would be like -1, and in theory, this should be -7. Which number is the greater one? Or which way is greater? Is it to the left or to the right? Hopefully you said to the right. Okay. That one's going to be like this way. Now, when you look at the -2, right, it says m is less than -2. So if it's less than would be to the left because it's less. So less goes left. Okay. So you see how they kind of like meet in the middle? Okay. It's because they're in between. So any number between -8 and -2 will work for this inequality. That's what we're doing. Okay? So I know that was a lot of information. So this is why I gave you like 6 different examples in your homework and made sure to make ones in your notes that look like the ones on your homework. So I tried to help. I tried to be helpful. Okay? So let's try another one. Okay? Don't worry, it'll get better. And don't mind me, I'm in my office at home. So yes, those are like Christmas lights and my rug. Don't worry about it. All right, so again, when we are solving absolute value inequalities, we're going to solve it twice. Okay, so remember the rule. So the first time, you just write it the exact same way that it is. But the second time, you're going to write the absolute value part the same, but you flip the inequality and make the number the opposite. Flip the sign and flip. Okay. All right, so let's solve it. So remember, you start with the adding and subtracting first. So the opposite of plus 12 should be 12. Good job. Okay, so this should be 12 minus 12 is. Oh, good. All right. We're going to do the same step over here. We have 6m plus 12. So again, do the adding and subtracting first. So what's the opposite of plus 12? Minus 12. So let's see, we need -12 minus 12. So again, calculators, beautiful things, please use them. -12 minus 12, you should get -24. All right, now, last step. We have 6m, so we have to get rid of the 6. So when you see the 6m, in case you forgot, when you have the number touching the letter, that's the same as multiplying. Okay, so you're going to do the opposite of multiplying. The opposite would be dividing. Okay, all right, so you're going to do 0 divided by 6. Hopefully that's easy. It should be 0. Okay, okay. And then m, quality won't change. So any -24 divided by 6. So you should get -4. Okay. All right, so again, look at what we had last time. You see how over here we have our one sign is pointing towards the letter and this one's pointing away from the letter? Okay, that means we're going to have another one. It looks like this. So there you go. You already kind of know what the answer looks like. So again, first we have to write our set notation right there. How it looks so fancy. So you're going to do the curly brackets, letter M, straight line, and then start with the smaller number. So what's smaller, 0 or -4? Hopefully you said -4. -4, and the -4, see how it's pointing at the -4? We're going to make it point at the -4, and then for the other one, it's pointing at the M and 0. And then you put the curly bracket, and there you go. So that is saying that every M that would work for this is between -4 and 0. Now you got to graph it, okay? So if it's everything in between -4 and 0, that means we're going to have another graph where you have the 2 dots and it's everything in between it, okay? The only thing we have to decide is what kind of dot is it? Is it going to be the closed dot or the open dot? So let's look at our original inequality all the way up here. You see a line under it like those? Hopefully you said no. Okay, so we're going to use open dots. So because this only goes -4 to 0, I'm actually counting. Just because I know some of you are going to get lazy on me. Or some of you are perfectionists, like Ms. Howell some days. So let's see. So we're going to put the open dots and one on -4, one on 0. And again, we already kind of figured out which way we were going to shade. We said it was in between. Go in between. Let's see. So again, m is smaller than 0 and m is bigger than -. There you go. That's what it should look like. All right. So those are kind of like the easier ones. Now we're going to do kind of like harder type. Okay, now we have ones with fractions. Okay, and I think you have at least like five or six please type in your homework. Okay? And yes, you do have homework. Okay. Those of you that had me last year, you know how I'll give you. Or if you had me in 6th grade, you have homework. Okay? Alright, so because it's a fraction, it's not really going to change much, like steps wise, about how you start it. It's just one more like mathy step you have to do. So let's start off with setting it up. Okay, so again, you're still going to keep the original one. That part didn't change. But remember the next one, inequality, or the absolute value part. But we are going to flip that sign around and equals the, so instead of 1, now we're going to put okay, all right, let's start solving. So again, these are really big fractions. And when you think about it, fractions are division. Opposite of dividing would be multiply. Okay, so instead of dividing by 2, multiply by 2. So we have that 2 on the bottom, but we're going to multiply. So now we're going to have x or equal to 2. 1 times 2 should be, do the same step over here. X minus 1, flipped inequality, negative 1 times 2, we should get. So for that negative 2, now it says x minus 1, and so if we are subtracting 1, again we're going to do the opposite of that, which is adding 1. Okay, so let's add 1. Super hard question. 2 plus 1. It's 3. Oh, right over here we have negative 2 plus 1. Hopefully you got 1 for that. Okay. So, what happened here? We have the arrow things going in different ways, like one pointing at the x and away from the x. I think so. Good. So, we changed the letter this time. So instead of m, this time you're going to write x, because that's what was in x, big old line, and pick the smaller number. That would be 9. Pointing at the negative that way, don't get the line under it. X. Next one is pointing at the 3. 2. 3. Can you do the entire number line? Yeah. Up to. See, like up here, I stopped it. Okay. So let's go back up to this part. Okay. So let's see. Look at our inequality. Do we have the line under it? Hopefully, yes. We go. So we are going to use closed dots this time. So at negative 1, big old dot. Color it in this same way. Big old dot. Color. Alright, so again, when you have x in between them, okay, when it's written like this, remember this is an inequality. That means it's everything less than or equal to 3 and greater than or equal to negative 1. In other words, it's in between. So like here's your negative 1 and here's between them. Or if you want to look at the inequality, it says x is greater than negative 1, greater than goes to the right. This is x is less than 3. Less than 3 goes to the left. And there you have it. Okay? So, in case you didn't notice, absolute value inequalities, a lot of them look like this. So let's try. Okay? And see if you can figure out what made it. So again, it's an absolute value inequality. You have to do the problem twice. Okay? So let's write it both times. Remember, for the first one, you're not going to change a thing. Put the exact same Okay. For the next one, remember the absolute value part just stays the same way it is. But then you're going to flip the inequality, flip the number. Okay? There you go. All right, now you start solving. So again, remember, it's a really big fraction. Fractions are what types of math problems? Division. Good job. Okay. Opposite of dividing would be multiplying. Awesome. So we're going to multiply. We're going to multiply that bottom number by the 5 or the negative. So hopefully you should get almost the same. You should get 2x minus 1 greater than 35. And then 2x minus 1 number 7 times negative 5, you should get negative 5. All right. So just like these, all of these guys up here, now we got to do the adding and subtracting part. So if we are going to be, let's see, our problem says subtracting. So we're going to do the opposite, which is adding. Good job. So we're going to add 1. We should get 2x greater than 36, and 2x is less than negative 35 plus 1 negative 34. Right, one more time. I should have mentioned this one, you're going to need a little bit of room. Okay, we only have it left, whereas normally we would have been. So hopefully you wrote some. If not, like wherever you tape your paper, like if you need more room, hey, look, you have. Okay, or you can always, like, because this is in your notebook, flip it up. And fun fact. Okay. So you should get. We're going to divide by 2. Right, so 36 divided by 2. Again, if you don't know, use a calculator. It's so helpful. Okay, you're going to get one on the test. So 36 divided by 2, you should get. I already did the. But if you see me look over here, checking to make sure I did it right. Because I'm tired. And I am human. Humans make. Carry on. So let's see. Now we're going to divide on this side. Again, we're going to divide by 2. So x is less than negative 17. Go. All right, so let's take a look at our inequalities. Remember, we're looking for one that is, see if it's pointing at the x, and then one pointing at the number. This one's pointing at the number. Into something. All right, so let's see, what is it? Let's see. So let's see if we have, so we have the smaller number, right? Like here it was negative 1. Was our inequality, was it pointing at the letter or at the number? Number, right? Up here for our small, the point letter or the number? Number again. Okay, let's look at the one that we just did for our smaller number. Is it pointing at the letter or at the number? It's pointing at the letter. That one makes it different. It's the inequality. Okay, because look at these three. Okay, what kind of inequality do all three of those have? They all have a less than, right? What does this one have? Okay, that one makes this one. Oh, it's a greater than one. Okay. So let's see what it looks like. So let's write the what should we call it? Set notation. That thing. Brain fart. Let's write it. I'm gonna write it over here just so it looks nicer because I don't want to push it in. So let's see, we're gonna have our okay. Curvy brackets. X straight line. Then okay. So because this one is different, we're not actually gonna write it like this. You're actually just gonna write the exact same inequalities. You're just gonna put the word or in between them. That's it. Okay, so we're gonna put x greater than 18 or is less than 17, and then put the other curvy bracket. So that's it. Okay? Because they don't like meet together, so you don't join the inequalities, so you put or in between. It doesn't matter which inequality you put first. It's kind of preference. If you wanted to stick with the theme of always putting the smaller number first, you could put the negative 17 first. I just didn't because that's not how I built it, but it doesn't really matter. Okay. All right, now for this one, as you can see, we have to go from 18 to negative 17. We don't have enough room on that number line, so we're just gonna think it. We're just gonna kind of just estimate. Okay. So if you just want to put like negative 17 over here, and then just put like 18 over here, and we'll just kind of that. We'll say split. All right, so let's see what kind of dots are we gonna get. Have the line under it for equal to? No. Okay. So open dot it is. Open dot. Open dot. So look at our inequalities. So for the 18, it says x is greater than 18. Remember, if it's greater than, you go right. If it helps, the word right has a G. Goes that way. And then this one says x is less than negative 17. Remember, less than, you go left. Oh, so do you see how that looks different than the rest of them? Instead of meeting together, they're going up. Okay, so remember that. That is important, like 5 minutes from now. Okay? Okay. All right, let's try another one. So again, it's an absolute value, which means you gotta do the problem twice. So let's write the first time. Remember, don't change a thing. Then we're gonna write it again. Remember, the absolute value part doesn't change, but we are going to equality and flip the number. So this time it was a negative, so you're gonna flip it. So the opposite of negative is a positive. Go ahead. So we're just gonna put positive 5. Okay, now we're gonna solve. This one's at least the easy one. It says n minus 6. What's the opposite of minus 6? Plus 6. Good job. All right, so let's add 6. We get n negative 5 plus 6. Okay, if you don't later. Or think about it, it would be a positive 6 minus 5, so you get 1. All right, same. This is 5 plus 6. 5 plus 6 is 11. 11. Oops, I forgot my line. Boom. All right. So let's see what type of inequality we're going to get this time. Like set notations. Let's see. We have one. So the smaller number. Bigger number is letter. Okay. Okay. Good. That means it's going to meet in the middle. It looks like. So this is actually a little bit special. So I'm going to show you on the graph first. Okay. Again, we don't have enough room, so just eyeball it. Like how we did in the last one. We're going to put a 1 over here. 11 over here. Okay. All right, what kind of dot are we getting? Let's see. It's got the lines. So lines mean closed dots. So remember, when it's a closed dot, that means that the answer can be this number. So our answer can be 1 or it can be 11. It just happens, whatever you pick. Okay. So let's see. For the 1, it says n is bigger or equal to 1. So which way is bigger than 1? Greater than? Is that left or right? Hopefully you said to the right. So if I'm going to go greater than, that's going to be this way. But I have a question. Okay. If it says greater than -1, but it can equal 11, could it equal 12 too? Is 12 still bigger than 1? How about 13? Bigger than 1? How about 14? How about 25? 70? 157? Are all of those bigger than 1? Yeah. So would they all technically work? Would. So you're actually going to color or shade, technically, past the 11. Colored over my dot so you can't see it. A little bigger. Alright, let's look at the 11. It's kind of the same thing. Okay, when you look at the 11, it says that n is less than or equal to 11. So when I think of less than, right? Less than goes to the left, right? Okay, so we already have all this part colored. How about this would be 0, wouldn't it? Well, is 0 less than 11? Yeah. Is any negative number less than 11? Yeah. Okay. So that means you can color all of this part too because it had that equal to. So let's see. When you look at our line, was there any part that we didn't color or didn't shade? I colored all of mine. So part I didn't color? No. So that means for this type of question, the answer is all real numbers. That means you could pick any number in your brain and it'll work for this. Okay? Like a special problem where everything works, no matter what you pick. So, feel free if you want to test that, go ahead. If you don't want to, just because that's extra. Everybody wants to be extra. Just go with it. Okay? So the way you're gonna write that for set notation is n was our variable, and you're still gonna put the line. What you're actually gonna write is you're gonna say n is a real I don't have enough room to write the word number, but you're gonna put n as a real number. I'm gonna just write it down here, or you can put a super sign, or if you're one of those people that write super, you could fit it. But I is a real number, and then we're gonna close it with another curly bracket. That's it. That's all you can do. I was gonna fit. So that's one of those trick questions. Okay, I don't think there's any of those in your homework, but just in case, okay, cool. Here's what it looks like. So just be careful if it has the equal to part that it double check to see if all of the numbers. Okay, like this one it didn't because it said that x had to be greater than 1. Okay, so greater than 1 only that way. So that's what that one. Alright, question. Can't really see your question. Anyway, so let's try this. And last question. Okay, last one. So this one's a little bit different, in case you couldn't tell. Okay, this one is actually asking you to write a sentence about the graph below. So when they say write an absolute value sentence, they mean they want you to write a problem like this. Okay, that's what they want. So there's a couple tricks about how to write it. Okay? First thing you need to do, in case you can't read those numbers, okay, this is a -1 and this is 5. Okay, step 1, find the number in the middle of those two numbers. Okay, so if it helps, just like make count. So do like 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, we're not in the middle yet, but I'm pretty sure you can tell the middle number is boop, boop. Our middle number, okay? That number, that's what's going to go inside of our inequality, okay? But the catch is you want the opposite of it. So this was a positive 2, right? So we need a negative 2. There you go. Okay. So we're going to put a negative 2. Okay. And then just pick whatever variable you want. So I'm going to use h because, Miss Howe. Use whatever you want. Okay. The only ones I don't exactly encourage are like S's because it looks like a 5 times for some of you, or like L's, 1s, or O's, like 0s. Okay, so just be careful. Anyway, all right, now that's step 1. Okay, step 2. How far away were your numbers from that middle number? Let's see, how many jumps did I have to make? I had to make 2, 3. All right, so this one was +3 that way. This was a -3 that way. The 3, however many jumps you had to make 3. That's what it's gonna equal. Now, here is the catch. Whenever the graph has 2 dots and it's connected like that, it's going to be less than or equal to. So it could have open or whenever the graph like this and it's going opposite ways, greater than or a greater than. Okay, that's the catch. So ask yourself, what type of graph does it look like? Okay, ours is an in-between one, so it's got to be a less than or equal to. So now you look at the dots. Okay, were they open dots or closed dots? Because if it was open dots, it's going to be this guy. If it was a closed dot, it's going to be that guy. Okay, same thing for this down here. Open dot, closed dot. That's how you know. All right, so we had open dots, so we're going to put that. Boom. That's it. That's all you got to do. Okay. Now, if you're kind of like OCD, towel, I want to check my work, make sure I'm right. Okay, you're just gonna solve it like you did all this time. Okay, so we can say h minus 2 is less than 3, and h minus 2 is greater than -3. Okay, so let's see. It says -2, the opposite +2, so we're gonna get h 2, 3 plus 5 plus 2, -3. Hey, look at that. -1, 5, -1, 5. Okay, good start. We get, this was a less than 5. Did I say less than 5? Yeah. How about this one? This is supposed to be h is greater than -1. Oh, hey, look at that. Boom. Okay, so there you go. Those are your handy dandy rules. Okay, so that is it for graphing absolute value inequalities. Okay, your homework. Okay, Mod 3 kids. Your homework is on McGraw-Hill. It'll say 5-4 homework. It's online. For Mod 8, I don't know why, but you're not assigned to me yet, McGraw-Hill, so I can't assign it to you. But if you want to start it on paper, you can go ahead, start it on a sheet of paper. You can pull up the textbook and just copy it on the next page in your notebook if you want to, or do it on a separate sheet. And I'm going to do my hardest to try to get that assigned to you later, because I will actually be grading your homework for correctness. So, best. Right? And again, if you need help, let me know. You can email me. It's Howell L1, so HOWELLL R1 at duvalschools.org. Okay. So you can email me, or again, I have tutoring on Tuesdays after school. Okay. So again, your homework is the 5-4 homework, which is, what pages was that? Here's some. All right, so you're just gonna have to look about what pages that was. Sorry, I don't have it written down somewhere. I think it was like page like 280. Oh, I know, you can click through the section. Just find section 5-4. You can need to do all of them up to, let's see, up to number 35, but you can skip number 25 because I thought that question. Skip 25. So yeah, there you go. Yep. So it's pages. Oh, I was wrong. It's page 291. Okay, that's your homework. So you have the rest of class to work on that homework page. Get started on that. Whatever you don't finish is obviously homework. Okay. So, bye.